Okay, so I'm going to do a new floor for the patio area, I suppose. And so when you click on the floor tool, if you haven't used it for a little while, just remember you've got all the shapes in the draw panel, and it's important that you practice using these and think about the different ways you can use those shapes. And so until now, you've been mainly using pick walls to choose the edges for your floors. But you can always go to just draw your own lines, and then I'm going to click a point where I want to start on the wall, come out a little bit, and then I might go to draw an arc. So below the line tool you have the first arc button, which will let me click a point for the end of the arc, and then another point for the point on the curve of that arc. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, it'll start there, yeah. At the end. Yeah. Oh, I'm using the first one, not you're using the second one. I'm using the first arc tool up here. So I'm going to go back to drawing a line now, and then just take it over to the building. And these, honestly, you just need to practice each of those, rather than trying to remember all the steps. When you start using them, you'll work out how they all work. And you know, like anything, it's just a matter of practicing. And so with the line tool, I'm just going to trace over the edge of the building. That's right, it's got to be a closed shape, and that's the most important principle actually. So then now I'm going to do one extra thing in properties. I'm going to set the height offset from the level to -100 so that it steps down, and that's in properties over hopefully to the left, but wherever you have that open. After you click the tick to finish the floor, you should still see that, so you can always adjust it if you need to. And then in my perspective view, going to 3D view 1, now I can see that floor. We'll put a different material onto it later, so it's got a pavers pattern or something. But the other thing I want to show you is stairs. And because you haven't got a hole cut out for the interior yet to do the stairs inside, I'm going to do a stair on the outside of the building. And so on the architecture panel you have the stair tool. Notice I've got level 1 open, so FL level 1. And then I'm just going to click on the arrow, the down arrow next to stair, and then go to stair by sketch. And then a good thing to try when you first go to use the stair tool is just click a point anywhere and then see how long the flight it gives you turns out to be. So I've clicked just one point, and now I can go in any direction, and I could just click, I'll just click a point out in space here, and I might even finish that one and then show you in 3D. So I'll go down in the project browser to one of my 3D views. Oops, that's not a good one. Okay, so you can see the stair there, and you can tell that it is going from the ground floor to the first floor, but it's out in space obviously, so it's not connecting to any floors. So that's fine, I'm going to delete it. But it's good just to try that to get an idea how big your stair is going to be, and basically how the stair tool works. So now I'll do one inside, and with the, again, down arrow next to stair, stair by sketch, and I'll save that I suppose. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just doing straight stairs at the moment. I'm not going to try and do L-shaped stairs or anything. So here I'm just going to click point in this internal area that's away from the walls, just to keep it simple for now. So just going through somewhere in the inside there. And then just like before, I'll take this down so that it goes all the way to the end of that run. You can see as you move the cursor from the first point, it'll count the stairs for you. In that, with that grey text, it's got, can't even see it there, 7 rises created, 9 remaining. Just below my cursor in that grey text. I know it's hard to read. Yeah, exactly. And so the trick there, if you want it to be a straight stair, is just take it all the way to the end of that rectangle, or past the end of that rectangle that it makes. And that will create all the rises you need to get to the next level. This is 18. Or 16, sorry.
The program automatically calculated for you.
Yep, exactly.
To keep a distance between the steps or anything.
No, that's right, it works it out. And that gives you, it actually gives you a better idea how stairs are designed in real life. I know at first you're probably thinking in terms of your rises as your starting point, but that's not actually how you do it in real life. You work with the levels, so you work out the height between your 2 floors, and then you work out the number of rises that you need between those 2 levels, and that gives you the riser height. That's the way you work it out. You don't... Yeah. That's right, you have a minimum and a maximum. So maximum is 190, and that's usually what your starting point. No, it's about 120. And then, but often people at first will try and go for even riser heights, like 175 or 160 or something like that, when in real life you don't usually work with those even riser heights, because it's really just a matter of dividing the 2 floor levels you have, and then the riser height is whatever it ends up being. So that's how you do stair design in real life, and but Revit works that out for you, and that's a great thing. You can see the riser height if you go in properties. You'll see it's worked it out. 187.5 is what it's worked out to be. And so for now we could just go with that. I'll finish my stair now. Okay, so then how do we see that stair? Remember, if you can't see from the outside, looking in the 3D view, obviously we can't see that stair because it's inside the building. So remember, if you can't see things from the outside, you've always got your section views to see inside. And so here both of my section views are going to pick up that stair. And if you don't have sections that do show you what you want, just make extra section views. So do you remember how to make section views? Okay, I might just do that again. So on the View tab, you have the section. And so I'll make a new section going through up here. Oh, sorry, yeah. It's looking up. I want it to look down, so I can use the arrow here to flip it and make it look the other way. And that's something you should always be doing with interiors work. Obviously you're trying to see the interior of your building, so you should be making sections all the time to see inside when you're not sure what's happening there. And so now looking in my project browser, you can see the different sections which show the stair viewed from those different viewpoints. And that will give you a much better handle on the riser heights and even the treads as well. You can see then that the stair is going into the floor. So what do you think you might do to take the floor away? Make a hole, that's right. And so yeah, that's right, modify it. Yep, so you've done that already. So you can select the floor. And if you remember, edit boundary. But I'll go, so before we were looking at selecting the floor in the section view and then changing to a plan view so that the floor is still selected, and then you can go to edit boundary to give you the sketch of that floor that you did earlier. And this time I'm just going to draw a rectangle, so just continuing what I was doing before. With a rectangle I'll draw around that stair. Alright, tick to finish. It'll ask me about attaching. I'm going to say no again, I don't want to attach. Okay. So that means the wall will stop at the floor. which you don't want. So I usually say no to that. And so there I can see now pretty clearly that my stair is going to go into this wall that I've put on the next level. So that's alright, I'll delete it, and I'll maybe change my layout a little bit. So these are some other things you can try. So using trim, we can make this a bit nicer so that I can see then the stair, and maybe I'll do a quick perspective there before I just look at railings as well. Okay, so we can see the stair now coming up into that level.
What did you do? What did you do for the perspective?
I just made a new perspective, so I just made a new camera view.
You go to level 2.
Yep.
Oh, you select camera
Yep.
4.
Yep.
And you edit.
Yeah, so you just need to draw a rectangle around your stair. So those things will help you when you go to make stairs. It takes a bit of practice, and there are obviously lots of different stair shapes you can try, but it's good just to try to get the basic stair tool with Stair by Sketch to give you a straight stair.
Just go over maybe the rectangle.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. So if you select the floor and then go to Edit Boundary,
And that's under the modify.
yeah, it'll take you to that. You don't need to choose it. When you choose anything, it'll take you to modify straight away. So you'll see Edit Boundary. And then you can draw with the draw panel again, just the same way I was before. And this time it was a rectangle that I drew around that stair, which will then automatically make a hole in the floor.
And then press it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the final thing I want to show you is the railings. And I know I'm going pretty quickly through these things, but I just want to give you a basic idea how these main tools work, because we won't have a chance to look at them until later with the beach house, much later. And so you don't want to get a big surprise when you have to add these things at the end. And so the railing tool you have, again, on the architecture panel with stairs. And these are fairly straightforward. Once you've used the floor tool and other tools like that, you'll see when you click on railing, it gives you the same shapes with the draw panel. And so again, it's a good chance just to practice drawing these basic shapes. So with the line tool, I'm just drawing around the edge of that floor from a balcony. Now I want a curve, so again, that first arc tool is probably the best one to try at first. The others you can use later. So with that first arc button under the line tool, then if it picks it up from the start point, you don't need to click there. And do you know why it sometimes will start or continue from the last point, and then in other cases it won't? You might have noticed you've got the chain option there. So if chain is on, it'll keep drawing from your last point. If it's off, then you need to click that first point to start drawing.
Oh, and that change.
Yeah, so it's probably just best to leave chain on. So when you're drawing anything, it'll give you that option. So and then on the options bar here, you've got chain. It continues drawing from the last point. And so I'll just draw my curve.
You don't have to apply the figures.
No, that's right, exactly. With a railing you don't.
And then that's what you're drawing inside the
Yeah, exactly, because the railing, I want it sitting on top of the floor, basically.
specified how far you want it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just doing it by eye, yeah. And that's fine at first, just to do it
But you
according
can
to your eyes.
specify how-
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, you can draw everything accurately if you need to. So here I'll just go back to drawing a straight line and then come back to the edge. Cancel. So I've drawn a shape, and you can draw any shape you like. It's good just to practice with these, drawing random shapes sometimes. And I'll finish that now, and then have a look in 3D. So you can see it's got a railing. It's a pretty awful railing though. It's horrible. I don't know why they give you this as the default. And so you can try just choosing that, and then in your type selector you'll see there are at least a few others loaded, like this pipe one's a bit better. Not a whole lot better, but better than the other one. There are plenty of railings in the library, but I'll show you how to get those later. There's a bit of a trick to loading them. So we'll look at that much later. But I guess when you get you thinking those main elements, then we'll do a little bit on rendering, and that'll be plenty for today. But again, these things, I'm not going into all of the detail. They're pretty involved tools, and you'll be doing a lot more with them. But as you do your assessment, so just really to prepare you for that. But I should just maybe just finish off with the railings. You'll see also on the stair. If I go and I'm going to go and make some more perspectives to see from the inside again. Okay, so I'll make another camera view, looking towards that stair this time. And notice it gives you a railing automatically on the sides of your stair. And those railings can be set to the same ones as any of the others. So when you select them, you can just in properties try out the different preloaded ones. So that's a good thing to try. And then maybe if you're worried about people falling down from the level above, you could try drawing in a new railing around that edge. Totally optional, but these are just things to try. And oh no, sorry. Have you had a look at the way stair arrows should be shown? Exactly, up. So when you see it written with down like this, it's American. They're the only ones who do this. Pretty much every other country on the planet, they show just up arrows. So that confused me. So that's the top of my stair, the bottom's there. And so I'm going to just draw some lines around this part where, for now I don't want people falling down. Oh, you can. Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. I'll just keep it pretty rough for now. And oops. So it's good just to try sketching the lines though as you make them. Make sure you have an idea how to adjust them. Yeah. So I'm just drawing another shape, and I'll finish this one now. And in my perspectives, you can see now it's got quite a few. I can obviously try and remember which one is which, but if you give them sensible names, it's a bit easier to work with. So I'll right click on this view, 3D view 5, and go to rename, just like you have earlier with other views, and we'll call it first floor perspective. And it'll have that name from now on, so it's easier to find again. 3D view 1, which is from the outside, I can rename and call it exterior. Yeah, I know it's awful, the thermostat doesn't really work. Yeah, well, I have no control over it, unfortunately. It's all controlled centrally. Oh yeah, just go to your green tab. I'll finish the video and I'll show you. So I'll just finish